leave. Welcome to another episode of the Bulk Nation podcast. Today with me, we are down another person rather than that last episode. First, we had Tyler. Tyler left. Sanan was last week, and now it's down to us three.
Three musketeers. That's
the
it.
three that have been here for every
That's it.
podcast
We're
so
the real
far.
ones.
So,
Hello.
We're the real ones,
real
people.
ones.
This is what you get.
So today, big news coming out of E3. This podcast will be about E3 reviews. We didn't do one yesterday because EA was the only one, and originally we planned on doing that, but I was really disappointed with EA's performance, to say the least, so I just decided that we'll just put it all in one day, and we'll attach it with the big dogs.
Yeah.
Bethesda and Microsoft. But before we jump into that, let me just ask you guys, what would you grade EA on their performance of E3 this year?
Well, I would give it an A so far.
EA?
Oh, EA? No, F.
Yeah, we're talking about F minus? Okay.
Yeah. Alone.
Wasn't a fan.
I was about to say, we were just
like,
talking
honestly,
about
like Anthem didn't even get me remotely interested. I don't know why. I don't know. I just don't. I'm not really interested.
Yeah, Joe?
But that's just me.
I mean, it's just, it sounds, I guess it sounds kind of harsh, but I give it an F minus predominantly because, with the exception of Anthem, there wasn't much to see. I mean, really, the only other thing besides Anthem, which didn't look all that great, in my opinion. I mean, it'll be a decent game. I'll probably pick it up, but it was no blockbuster hit. The only other one that I was really looking into was Battlefield 5, which they said 3 times they were going to show gameplay, and they showed maybe 2 minutes of it. We saw more.
It was 30 seconds.
Theatrical. It's like theatrical gameplay.
It was all cinematic. And, it's... I don't know.
I mean, I'm going to be a little bit nicer than you guys on it. I'll give it a D minus, not much better. But I don't know, man. EA, like, I had a lot of expectations with EA this year. But, like, EA, like, the reason, like, it's what I expect out of EA, to be honest with you. It's sports games. So, I mean, you had your FIFAs.
Yeah.
FIFA fans, if you like that stuff, like, cool. Like, I hope it's new, cool features for you. Madden coming to PC, that was a pretty big announcement. But like Battlefield looked good, and Anthem looked good. And so the only like other game I really remember during the whole thing was Unraveled. And I'm just not that's just not my type of game. But
the Twine game?
Yeah, where you're a piece of yarn, you know.
It looked like a neat little game, but you can't use that to sell a conference. Not when you
well, that's what I'm saying.
Today.
All Battlefront
it's what
was whatchamacallit, just promises again, like we were supposed to. Like,
exactly.
It was honestly
I mean,
things we were supposed to have already.
Same thing.
And now they're just like saying, "Oh, you're getting it now," you know.
I mean, Jedi Fallen Order. That guy was like super cringe during the whole thing, anyways. But Sea of Solitude also looked like a kind of solid game, but I mean, nothing that I'm like super impressed with. Like I said, I give it a D-. It's what I expected. EA's never been like this is gonna be the year. Anthem looked sweet. It just didn't I wasn't talking about it as much as like I would like, and when we get to the Bethesda conference, you'll hear me talking a shit ton about one game that they only showed 15 seconds of, not even.
Like,
so I mean,
EA's conference, in my opinion, it hasn't aged well. Like, it wasn't all that impressive to begin with, and then when Microsoft and Bethesda came and did what they did, it looks even worse by comparison.
Absolutely. And did we get a release date? Okay. So Anthem was
February 22nd.
A lot of games in February.
Yeah, next year. Everything was next year.
It's 2019, 100%. I know that.
Anthem was February 22nd, I thought.
Something like that.
So, okay, here we go. Anthem, February 22nd, 19.
There we go.
So, all right. I mean, Anthem came out of it, and Anthem's a game I will be getting and playing, so that's all I can really ask for. At least it's one game out of EA that I will be buying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's all I can really ask for. But let's talk about the two big dogs coming out today. First, let me get your grade on Microsoft's. Joe?
I said it in the moment because I was super hyped, but I think it's reasonable. I give Microsoft an A, if not an A plus. I mean, when you compare it to last year's conference, this one was just worlds ahead of what last year's conference was. And I mean, the thought that I had coming out of it was they had 50 games. They crammed 50 different games into what couldn't have been more than an hour and a half. I mean, it was just one after the other. I mean, it was just one after the other, rapid fire. It left you weird out by the end, like worn out because you'd see one thing and you barely had time to think about it before the next one was on your screen. So they did a really good job just packing that showcase full. I thought it was.
They really also got your 2 picks.
All right, and we'll get to that in a second. But Taylor, what would you grade that?
Well, they showed Halo, which is what I was looking for out of them. They showed Gears. They didn't show anything really besides a little smidget, but I'd give it an A, reasonably. The other game, some of the newer games look pretty cool. That last game was kind of odd. We'll have to see what that turns into. Here's where
Cyberpunk is.
It's hard, like again, like what Joe's saying. Like they went through them so quick. I'm like trying to like recap, but like they were just like rapid fire. It's like I can't remember.
If you guys, I have a bunch on the screen. If you guys can see that on your guys' end. However, I will also say I will give it an A minus. The only reason is I only got a teaser of Halo. But I did see a Halo, which is super important, and I'm super happy that they did show Halo. Halo looked fantastic. I did wish we would have saw more of it. However, I mean, I can't ask for too much. Like, we saw it. And I think Joe made a really good point. If we're comparing this last year, I mean, it blew it out of the water. Last year, I don't even remember what they showed.
Last year, I got nothing, like everything on my list, so to speak, my checklist. I didn't check a single thing. Nothing.
Exactly.
Nothing showed up that I wanted to show up.
When we're looking at some of the games that we saw today, so we have to just name a couple big ones: Halo Infinite, Ori was one that I was kind of interested in. Fallout 76. We saw at. I mean, that's going to be more of a Bethesda thing, and we'll talk more about 76 during Bethesda. Crackdown 3. Terry Crews looked awesome in it. He's going to kill it in it. Metro looked absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts, I absolutely adored it. I thought it looked freaking amazing. The only problem, they screwed up their trailer, didn't have any background noise. We saw a little bit more of Battlefield 5 and...
Yeah, and if you guys go on there on I think it's IGN's YouTube channel, they actually have the gameplay that they showed from this, and judging by that, it actually looks really, really good. It just boggles my mind how that was at Microsoft's briefing and not at EA's, like in a conference where they needed it. But Battlefield 5 looks really, really solid gameplay wise.
Another solid game was
Division. Division did look good.
Absolutely. Well, and that's the thing that we're going to get to. Forza Horizon 4
looked gorgeous. Looked absolutely gorgeous.
The map looked sweet.
And the thing about it was, there was a lot of speculation. And if you were anybody who was into it like me, and you were checking the Reddits, everybody thought that one of the likely destinations for the next Horizon was Japan. People were thinking, but I think people are going to be really, really happy with this because, as great a game as Forza Horizon 3 was, we didn't get like the snow and real weather changes until the first DLC. Now we've got that right from the beginning and some sweet looking cars too. I think this is going to be a really good game.
I mean, Forza definitely looked fun. We Happy Few, I thought the game already came out.
Yeah, me too.
They released like a pre-alpha, I guess, or something, and then the game dropped. And I thought this was the second one, but it's still the first one. I don't get now, but whatever. Battlegrounds, more stuff coming to Xbox, whatever. 50v50, Fortnite taking over anyways. Who cares about PUBG? Division 2.
And are running out of nowhere with no prior warning. The Savior dives in and restores Microsoft to its prior glory.
Okay.
I was
It looked
so
good,
And
Joe.
we're
when this
gonna
thing
touch
hit my
on like the
screen.
5 big ones of the conference. Just give me 1 second to get through the um big boys here. The studio announcements, that was pretty cool, and
That was
I'll
big.
get into that.
There was some big names.
That was really big. Black Desert. I want to see more of that because that's gonna be a sweet MMO coming. Just Cause 4 looks sweet. Gears of War 5. We saw Cyberpunk. Uh, Jump Force as well.
Hey,
And
reading down the list.
yes. And so those were like some of the big ones.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the really big ones that we saw, and we'll start with Halo. Starting off a conference like that, that's huge, man. And
They
I
dropped the
think
number.
like,
No Halo 6. It's Halo
It's
Infinite
usually
now.
last.
and yeah, that's what I thought, and it's kind of crazy too because you didn't see Bonnie Ross there. She didn't even make an appearance. She always makes an appearance at E3, man. And what worries me is they said 2019, correct?
I believe so, yes.
I don't even remember if they said anything. To be honest.
Yeah, was that like a confirmed thing? I don't even think it was a confirmed thing. I don't think they showed.
I mean,
like,
either way,
any...
we know it's gonna be at least 2019, if not, further.
Okay,
It's not gonna be.
so let's just say, knowing how long Halos are, November 2019, I'd say is a pretty good area.
I remember saying at the time, if we get to next year's E3 and we still don't have a solid release date for Halo, they might be in a little bit of trouble in that regard.
Well,
because
me and Taylor both said that it was going to be a teaser, and I mean, because we haven't even heard anything about Halo, like, so, I mean, what worries me, it looked like they threw this trailer together very quickly, and it looked like I said, Phil Spencer called Bonnie Ross and was like, if you do, like, because Phil Spencer's been under fire for his last couple E3s and how bad they've been and, like, how they've been stepping away from gamers. This E3 looks like they stepped closer to gamers. 50 games, that's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, Bonnie Ross wasn't even there. It just, like, seems like it was sent over, like, here you go, show them this to, like, calm them down. So that's the only thing.
I mean, well, and then there's the question, do we think it worked? Do we think it worked for the community at large? I think just seeing anything Halo will be enough to appease some people. But I think there are others like us who see through this and they're like, man, let's get on with it. It's been a long time.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I mean, it's been a really long time, and it looks like it's. I hope it gets back to the Halo 2 days. To be honest, man, I'm looking forward to it. And
we'll see. The way that the new engine looked, I'm sure it's gonna have a different feel to it.
And I mean, they were talking about open world, like some rumors about like an open world Halo, which would be sweet. I hope, like they were talking about, I hope they move back to Master Chief instead of Locke, because who wants Locke? I'd rather, like, Halo's Master Chief. That's what Halo is to me.
Yeah, they alluded to that in the briefing. They had said that they're trying for a story center on Master Chief. So
after, we're gonna do Fallout 76 during the Bethesda when we're talking about Bethesda. Crackdown 3, dude, it's been so long now. I mean, Terry Crews killed it during that thing. It's just been so long since, like, they've been talking about this game. It's like hype, up down, like.
We were watching IGN's sort of pre-show to this before the conference aired, and I think 2, if not 3, of the 4 people they had on their panel said that at this point, the hype train has had so many ups and downs that it's hard to be completely hype about this because there are some strings attached.
I mean, but like at the same time, Crackdown's never been a game that I've been like, mark your calendar, like I need to get my pre-order in right now. Like Crackdown's been like the fool around game, like I have fun with when I'm bored. Crackdown 1 was absolutely amazing. I know Taylor played that probably more than any of us, and 2 didn't really show me anything, but.
Well, Crackdown 3 was supposed to come a long time ago. That was my problem. And now it's not coming out till the end of next year. And that's like ridiculous.
And that's what I'm saying. It's like hype's kind of like dying on it and whatever. Terry Crews did kill it though. That was the best part about the
Yeah.
Terry Crews was awesome. Metro looked sweet, man. Um,
There were a
that's
lot.
all I really have to say about it. I've never played a Metro, but Metros look so good, man.
Yeah, I think we were all in agreement about that because like there were a couple of games here, like franchises that we are not particularly familiar with, but I remember seeing that one. That one really stood out
Yeah,
in terms
I
of
mean
its
Metro
graphics.
definitely looked sweet, and I'm excited about it. It's another game that I will be willing to play and willing to try. So that's what I can ask for coming out of E3. Kingdom Heart. I'm getting that 100%. That looks so freaking fun,
I
man.
say, yeah, Mike, you're pretty high on this. Full disclosure, I really had no idea what Kingdom Hearts was coming into this, but
the
it
the
looks
reason
pretty cool.
the reason I like Kingdom's Heart, and like you can just tell by the way it looks. Kingdom Heart is that like toy, like I'm trying to think. There was an old like Toy Story or Disney game like that involved skateboarding and stuff. I'm not sure what it was named, but it had like a bunch of Disney characters, and like you could skateboard with them and do all that stuff. And
I
that's
know
what
what you're
it.
talking about. I just can't remember by name.
But like it's just something that like I played when I was young, and like it's just implanted in my brain like those
Yeah.
memories. And that's what Kingdom Heart will be for like so many people. I feel like just new gamers, these kids coming into gaming, and they see Kingdom Heart and they're like, that's what I played when I was young.
Yeah.
Like that game was like,
Endorsed the nostalgia gland, right?
yeah, it's
That's
just like it's one of those iconic games that will forever be like implanted into your brain, and I really like that. Um,
what's
what else we
next.
got? Sea of Thieves came out with some couple things, and
Meh. Whatever.
Sea of Thieves. I'm glad they added it to Game Pass. That's kind of cool.
That's a good. Yeah, that's gonna help it, I think.
And I did like how they added Elder Scrolls to it as well. That was freaking unbelievable. Battlefield 5. I thought they did a better job showing Battlefield 5 at Microsoft's
At
conference
Microsoft,
than they
yeah.
did at EA's. To be honest,
Which is
Battlefield
pathetic.
5 looked great.
But again, all said and done, it looks good. It looks like a pretty solid Battlefield game. I think it's gonna do the World War II theater a lot more justice than COD World War II did. And I don't know. I think it's gonna be a pretty decent game.
I'm looking for the
No,
Battle
absolutely.
Royale. It looks pretty cool. It's a good concept.
Yeah, especially
Yeah,
Battlefield.
yeah.
Like it's just something we're not used to seeing in a Battlefield. So I think it's gonna be awesome. Like when we actually get to see that fully. This whole line, like we'll have something to talk about. Forza Horizon 4 looks absolutely incredible. I'm not sure if I'm gonna get it, just because Forza's a Forza for me when it comes down to it. Like when you strip it of everything, it's still like a driving game, and you can
I
only
know
play that
who's
for so
getting
long. In my opinion.
it.
Mr.
That
Joe
right
here is a
there.
huge fan of it, and
It's it, I went on their website and I read all the other information they gave after it finally got revealed. It's going to be a really good game for Forza Horizon's sake. It's one of those series where, I mean, racing likens to sports games a lot in the sense that there's only so many new features you can add, and Forza's getting to the point where they're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Like I think they even said that this one's going to have like a custom race creator, which the other ones haven't. They had you doing all the pre-made races, but it's once you put that in, what else is there after that? Now everybody can do what they want with it. So they tried, and I think they succeeded in making Forza Horizon 4 stand out. It's one of those things where you start to think, well, where can they go with this next, if at all? But again, here and now, Forza Horizon 4. I mean, you guys said it. I'm definitely getting it. It looks amazing.
Well, that's the thing. Like racing games are just so limited on like content. Like what can you do?
What can they
There's
do?
only so much you can do in a racing game.
And they
Maybe
tried.
if you like,
I saw some bikes or whatever, and they don't have the advantage of, say, another racing game we'll see tomorrow, like the Crew 2, for example, where Forza was always strictly cars. And now all of a sudden, this new game comes out, and it's got cars, bikes, monster trucks, Formula One cars.
Forza has been
boats.
confirmed bikes.
Yeah, so they tried to match them on that. I think they did as good a job as could be expected from a game series that is primarily a racing simulator, but there was only so far towards that side of the spectrum they could go. So It'll
No,
be interesting.
absolutely.
I'm interested to see. I'm interested to see, in sales, which one wins out, the Crew or Forza. I think it'll be a pretty close race this year. But
I
it looks
mean,
good.
as good as Crews are, I think that Forza just made a bigger name for itself over the
Oh
years.
yeah,
So I
for
think
sure,
Forza will
for sure.
definitely beat that. Next game, Battlegrounds for Xbox. I mean, I just don't think it was well optimized for Xbox. I think that if you're gonna play Battlegrounds, play it on a PC because that's what it
Yeah,
was made for. To be
I
honest,
just wasn't a
not
PUBG
much.
fan in the first place, so I mean, it
I
just kind of
mean,
we're a
went past
Fortnite.
me.
Fortnite's like I said, Fortnite's taking over. Realm Royale actually is like doing very well right now, and I think it's taken. I mean, I've seen Ninja been playing it, so um,
It has the
yeah, I
ninja
think
stamp
it's
of approval.
I think it's gaining a following, and I hope to see it around a little bit longer.
Hopefully.
We'll see what
The
happens.
next one is
Here we
oh
go.
boy,
Here
here
we
we go.
fucking go.
Here's where the hour of the talk show just comes into play, just like in one go. Division 2. I'm gonna give my take on it first, Joe.
Go ahead.
Okay. And then you can correct me whatever you want to do. He picked up one gun. It looked like a gun that we've seen. My problem with it is, besides for the landscaping, you know what it looked like? You know what game it looked like? Division
Hmm.
1.
Well, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it is division.
I mean, it is Division, but like, just besides for like, that's the thing. I didn't want the people to be as like bullet spongy in this one, which they didn't look as bullet spongy in this one. That was one of my problems with the first one. I hope we see more at Ubisoft's conference on Tuesday or tomorrow, whatever it is, about multiplayer. But I mean, the game looks solid. I hope there's no gear sets. I wish we saw more of that. Um, that's all I really have to say about it. It's cool landscaping. It looks good. It looks good.
Taylor, you want to go
Yeah.
before me?
Oh yeah, before you're at, it looked good. I don't really have any gripes against. I mean, I just didn't see enough. I think it looked like what division should look like. As far as bullet sponginess, I mean, I think they're going to keep that whole armor, style of. It's not going to be like Destiny with the shield. They have their style of doing it. So, I want to see a PvP because I like PvP in the beta and in early division release. But once gear sets started coming in, that was a problem for me.
I mean, I will give them props for that.
I want quick time to kills.
Yeah.
I don't want long time to kills, and I don't want like shit like over here starting to break, and gear sets starting to break that. So yeah, that's where
And
I stand
I
with
think
it.
that's where me and Taylor are like on a pretty like good consensus on that. Like that's exactly what we want out of Division, and that was the problem why me and him left the first one.
It's
Joe still before Joe you talk. Joe still plays Division 1.
yes.
Why? And one of the 7 people still left on the servers. Him and his crew that run around on there.
All right, Joe, go for it. Go crazy.
Just have fun with it, Joe.
I was gonna start a lot of with what you guys said. I can only hope, and I could go into all the specifics here, but I was watching a bunch of big division YouTubers and stuff, and they said a lot of the same thing. Where it's tomorrow is where we'll get a lot more of information related to the game, and probably more of a breakdown than we could even do here. So I'll stick with the generals, and the first one of that is, yeah, like what you guys said. I can only hope, and from what I saw, it looked like they did, that they use their lessons from the first one, where they started with these ambitious concepts with gear and gear sets and stuff like that, but they had time to see what worked and what didn't. You know that now. You have a perspective for how you can balance out those 3 main stats, which we saw in that trailer. You have a perspective for how you can balance out different weapons, a variety of which we saw in that trailer. So bring that over. Don't lose those lessons. You've got those are numbers. Those are numbers on a spreadsheet in a database that they have somewhere. That's a whole list of bugs, exploits, and meta-breaking shit that they can avoid right out the get-go. Now, I will say this. I went and did a little bit of research on their website about this game afterwards, and one of the things that they're touting is that this is an end game focus. Like it was built with the end game first approach. Was what they called it, and they mentioned it's. I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but I've heard some people talking about the possibility of 8-man raids in this game, which would be really, really cool. But the primary foundation for that has to be no bullet sponges, like you guys said. And I understand that for any RPG, you have to have the enemies have more health so that player power can scale exponentially. I get that. I understand that. But again, a lesson that they have from the first game is they made legendary missions. They had NPCs that were not as bullet spongy, but were harder because of the tactics, because of the way they played, because of the equipment they had, the skills they used, how they'd rush you, how you had to rush them, the environments they were in. Use that, because what they were careful to say in all their advertising of this is that it's going down in Washington, D.C., and that their map is a 1-to-1 representation. So go nuts with it. Make the environment the challenge, not the enemies, because that's what's going to make it easier to have a more fleshed out endgame. The problem with the endgame for the Division 1 was even when we got more stuff, it was still empty enough clips into this guy until he dies, just with a different backdrop. Now they have a real opportunity to distinguish things and have different activities and build this up, and I can only hope that tomorrow shows us that. I loved every second of what I saw today. And, I'm like I said, there's a part of me that's going to love no matter what they put out. But please, for the sake of the game, I can only hope that they took all the stuff they learned in the first game to heart. And it looked great. It looked great, but, man, just... It's one of those things where I won't believe it till I see it. Because everybody's talking about, how the trailers get downgraded in graphics and stuff like that. Of course, that can happen. And
Joe, I'm going to stop you there. I'm going to stop you, on your...
No, I know. I could go forever.
No, because we're not going to have a lot to talk about after the Ubisoft conference.
Yeah.
So this is going to be all we're going to be talking. Unless there's Rainbow Six and stuff like that. So, there's a whole lot of speculation, lots of good stuff coming out. But,
well, don't forget after Ubisoft is Sony. So, and... there's still potential
Sony,
there.
PlayStation.
Garbo. Yeah.
Okay, but anyways,
yeah, screw Sony. Yeah.
You said raid, and the problem with raid, if it's not a Destiny raid, I don't want to play it.
Did you guys figure out who's getting Fortnite? I didn't even look.
Wait, what was that?
Who's getting Fortnite?
Oh, what conference is getting Fortnite?
I think
it's gotta be Sony at this point.
I think it's gonna be it's gonna either be PC or they're just gonna try to make it their own little conference out of
because all I know is about the tournament.
I think they might make their own little conference out of their tournament.
They might do. Yeah, they might do it before pre-tournament, before the game starts, before the series starts. That would make sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that.
And then Black Desert Online. Sorry, Joe. Black Desert Online. Like I said, I want to see how they're going to bring it to Xbox. I don't even know if it's Black Desert Online. It just says Black Desert.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a different game, if it's going to be the same one. I haven't looked too much into it. But it was a really good MMO on the computer. I enjoyed playing it. It's a super grind-heavy game, which I know Taylor and me like. Joe, you played Division, so you know how...
I am no stranger to the grind.
I watched streamers play it before. It looks like fun.
Yeah, it looks pretty. It looks like RuneScape, World of Warcraft, one of those.
Just an MMO. I know it's
Dying Light 2 looked pretty good. Just all these open world games are looking incredible, man. Just Cause 4 looked incredible.
It looked really similar, dude. I don't know if you guys have played it more than I have. Just Cause seem like they look a lot alike, each one of them.
Yeah.
The same characters.
Looked a lot alike, but Just Cause 4 looked really good, in my opinion. So maybe that's not a bad thing.
It did. They just all look really similar, same stuff.
You could play a Just Cause 3 and it'd be a Just Cause 4. It's just... it's not anything oh my goodness. It kind of falls in the same category as Crackdown to me. It's the game, when I get bored, I can jump on and just blow shit up. It's fun.
I know Tyler really likes it himself.
Yeah. Tyler will definitely be getting it. Gears Pop.
Here we go. Highlight of the conference right here, baby. Gears Pop. Look at those little guys.
I thought it was going to be legit the only thing that they were going to talk about Gears, and Taylor.
This whole thing was quite the troll.
Yeah, that's
it was.
that was the theme for
That
today
thing
at
was
multiple points.
stupid. But let's talk about the real one, Gears
Gears
5.
5.
Gears 5.
It looks like Gears 4, to be honest with you, dude. Like, I
Well,
don't know what to think of. I just saw the campaign, like a little bit campaign stuff. I want to see multiplayer, but we'll see.
here's the problem I have with it, and like, here we go. People are gonna call me sexist, whatever it is. I don't like the girl in the game.
Oh yeah, you don't like her as a character, not as the fact
Yeah,
that
but
she's
like,
a
I'm not
female.
saying
You know
it's
what I
like
mean?
just a girl. Like, I love Tomb Raider and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like, it's not my problem. Like, a lot of people's problem is like, oh, no girl should be the lead in a video game. Like, that's not my problem with it. My problem is like, I didn't like her.
Yeah.
She
Yeah, just
wasn't
as a
like,
person, regardless of her sex.
she wasn't a person I was like, oh my goodness, this is gonna be incredible. Like, finally I
I
get
just
a.
miss the OG COG crew.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like Coltrane,
Dom,
Marcus,
Rip Dom, poor man.
rest in peace.
We had said when we saw that trailer, she looked like a reskinned Anna Bray from Warmind
Yeah, she
in
did.
Destiny 2.
So I mean, like, Gears 5, it's just like a little bit like disappointing that it looks like the whole story is about her, which she played a huge role in Gears 4, but
They do
it's
have a
just-
way of putting a good story, though. I'm curious about the story. Curious to
I'm
see
sure,
what
like,
they take.
I
from
don't
it.
have any problem. I think it's going to be an amazing story, no matter what they do.
Yeah.
The only problem, I don't really care about her story.
Well, I mean, it's
But
gonna
I'm
involve
sure it'll
everyone.
be
I
good
doubt
either
it's
way.
just gonna be
Yeah.
her story. There's,
Yeah,
there's
that's what I was
millions
They'll
of
have
gonna
to
other
be
say.
a bunch of it.
I mean, there has to be something like involved with it. It can't just be like her. But
Sure.
one thing I skipped over and I want to go back to that I accidentally missed is the Microsoft Studios acquiring other studios. It looked that just shows me Microsoft has gained its focus and is focusing back on games.
Yeah.
It was a little slap in the face to PlayStation as well. I think just saying like, "Ha, you're no longer using these game companies."
Well, they need more developers. They need more help. I mean, making
I was gonna
games this
say.
day and age, just a lot of manpower, and it's a lot. You need a lot of good minds on it, and
Oh yeah.
it's not easy to do with a couple studios. You need a team.
I don't think it was
absolutely.
anything against Sony because I feel like it was just a matching of Sony's efforts. Because Sony has been on an acquisition rampage as of late. They've got a lot of exclusive. Believe me, they're gonna load their conference up tomorrow. So Microsoft said, okay, well, we'll match you on that one. And I think they did a really good job. I'm very interested to see what comes from some of those
That was
studios.
an awesome move, and like I'm
Yeah.
happy about that. Cyberpunk, the ending final thing they
Final.
showed,
Odd
it looks-
finale. Odd finale.
it was a weird finale. I think that Halo could have took that spot, but I mean, Cyberpunk looked cool. It will be a cool game. I think it's gonna be a fun, like, interesting, different game. But
It's definitely different.
It was, if it was in the middle of the conference, I think it would have been better. I don't
Yeah,
think it's a finale.
It looked
game.
like the middle of the conference type of game, to be honest with you. I didn't see it as the end game. I was expecting something different. Honestly, I wasn't sure what was going to happen at the end because Halo is normally the end.
And that's what makes me like a little bit excited for it. It's just Microsoft's gonna put so much effort into this game to make sure it's good.
What was the end last year? Do you remember? For Microsoft.
Nothing good because I wasn't impressed with anything.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
it couldn't have been anything.
We
that,
left
you know,
sorely impressed with Microsoft last.
Maybe I think it might have been the X. They announced the X or something.
Yeah,
like
and
that.
and one, I mean, yeah, that was it actually, the X. And one problem, like, it's not even exclusive. Like, your finale's not an exclusive for your game, for your console.
Yeah.
So I think Halo would have took a better spot for that.
I think it should have. But I mean,
Well, then
I got
again,
Halo
hindsight being
right now.
2020, would a Halo, just a Halo teaser be the best thing to end off on?
Yeah,
If they
that's
had
true,
Halo
because it was only a
gameplay,
teaser.
then I'd say
No, I
okay.
mean-
But
But like, you don't even have to put gameplay. You could have just put a like nice cinematic trailer of Halo 6, and it would have made
Yeah.
it. And I mean, it's not hard to do. You could make it very generic, but like, that's my problem. I don't think that Halo has too much stuff going on with it right now. Like, I just don't know how far behind they are on schedule, or like, it's just Halo's like a little worrying to me. But we did see it, and that's what I can ask for. It was one of my games that I wanted to see, and they
it
delivered
was
on
there. It was
We'll
there.
see.
So,
it. We've asked, and they finally delivered.
and they
to me.
finally delivered. By the way, never once uttered during that conference. He did a good job. He did not use that played out line one time, to my knowledge. We were disappointed.
Yep.
But
No, absolutely. But whatever,
good on them.
Yeah, well,
their
we'll see where it
commitment.
goes. In the coming couple months.
They're
We'll
committed.
see what
That's
happens.
right. That was the line. That was the replacement. We are committed.
And then a huge conference that just took place, and we're coming off the hype of that.
Yeah.
We started the talk show right after it. Is Bethesda,
That's the late night
and
crew.
and we're gonna start off one game at a time. Rage 2. Uh, it was that wasn't the take I was gonna put on a Bethesda conference. They came out with a concert, and it looked. I mean, like pretty cool. It got the crowd hype if you were there probably, and it got me hype a little bit at home. Rage 2 is not what I expected. I never played Rage 1, but like it looked awesome.
Yeah, for someone who has, I don't, to my knowledge, I don't even think I've played a Bethesda game. Nevertheless, any of the series that are put up here, yeah, just going off purely how things look to me, Rage 2 looked pretty cool. I mean, like I said, I haven't seen the first Rage, so I don't really know what to base it on or whatever, but it looked like a really interesting concept, and they played it in really strong, so.
Yeah, it looked
And
good.
I'm about to put soap in my mouth every time I say "but like."
It looked good. I'd be excited to play it. Was it coming this year?
Uh,
I don't recall.
Q2 2019.
Okay, no.
Yeah, so another 19 games. There's a lot of
A
next
lot
year
of
games.
2019 stuff.
Yeah,
But,
Rage 2 looked good. I haven't been too like Bethesda shooters. I'm not the biggest fan of historically. I didn't really
Yeah,
like
and-
Fallout's like shooting mechanics.
And I think that's the problem.
So,
Uh,
but last
everybody's
time they got, I think Bungie actually, they got help from Bungie a little bit for Fallout's shooting stuff. So, and of course,
And
you know,
that-
Bungie's next to none when it comes to first-person shooters.
Yeah.
Avalanche Studios making it too, so it's, I mean, different mechanics.
I've
Like
never
we have
even
to
heard of
remember, like,
Avalanche.
Avalanche made if you ever played Evolve.
I know what Evolve is. I never played it though.
Yeah, same. I never heard of it.
So they're part of the Just Cause franchise. They were in Just Cause 3. They made Mad Max, The Hunter,
I know Mad
Primal,
Max, yeah.
Just Cause 2, The Hunter.
Quite the list.
Yeah.
So
They
they've got
didn't
pretty good
make
experience.
Evolve. That was my apologies. That was the wrong one. I thought I recognized that symbol, but
Oh.
they didn't make it. So before people yell at me for giving the wrong information out,
That could be.
Podcast ruined.
it looked good though. Rage 2 definitely looked good. I was about to say but I
Caught yourself.
stopped myself. I'm trying to think of it now.
Another chance.
The Elder Scroll Legends. Cool. I
For
guess.
Tyler.
Card games. Whatever.
Card games.
Hearthstone people freak
For-
out. Have fun
Yeah.
with it.
Yeah,
I hope.
I'm assuming whoever likes card games, that's their deal.
I'll give you some Yu-Gi-Oh cards too if you want.
Exactly.
The Elder Scrolls Online Somerset looked like a sweet DLC, and I'd like to pair it up with the Xbox Game Pass because Elder Scroll with the DLC is in the Game Pass. Which
Is it really?
Yeah, it's not a bad
Yeah.
deal with all the DLC. That's pretty crazy. That's a lot of money's
mean,
worth of content.
I might hop back on the game. I think it's gonna bring a lot of player base back, so I might actually get involved with it.
It's pretty grindy
Eternal.
for me. If I did get into it, it would be a little bit later because right now I'm still on Destiny.
Yeah.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
we'll have to see.
And yeah, the game is very easy to grind, but it's also a long grind, which I like. I mean,
I do,
that's what you
but
like.
like I like starting that like early on, like with the player base. Like I hate being the
Mhm.
guy behind, and like
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know in your head like everybody's just, like there's people out there just like destroy you. You know, I like
Yeah,
to
and you're
kind
just looking at that guy like,
I like to
oh
be
yeah,
I like to start out, you know, with like the player base, you know, when the game
yeah.
first
It's like,
comes out.
oh, that's some nice Daedric armor. Yeah. Oh yeah, I put 200 hours into the game already. Okay. Well,
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right.
I just feel like I'm behind.
And did they give a release date? That's gonna be June 10th. So, wow. Wait, so today?
Well,
Oh
so
yeah. They said that's right.
there
that
was
one
two
of the things they said
DLCs,
was
right?
coming out tonight.
They were coming out, right? I forget the
Yeah,
names of them.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess
I mean,
that
they said
starts
that
today.
a couple of times.
And that's the one they
gave
said
fans
it
something
was
to go home
every quarter the guy was saying they get DLC.
Yeah.
So
And that's what I like about Bethesda. They always, when they announce a game, it's usually pretty quick to come out.
yeah,
Except for one in particular. But we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, we're getting there very quickly.
Doom Eternal. I think my girlfriend walked in during that, so I didn't really see too much about it. Doom's been a cool franchise. It's always been like a huge benchmark on the PC, like testing. So, I mean,
I played
could
Doom
be cool.
before, and you know, I like it. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I did like it. I enjoyed playing it.
It's a game to play.
Yeah.
It's a game you can play. It is.
Quake Champion. I'm trying to think
Looks
what
fun.
this one was.
But it was always like a little skirmish type of game. You just go in.
Oh yeah. Now I
graphics are
remember this
low,
one.
but movement's fast, and you just kind of run and gun.
Graphics don't
It's
mean
a different,
anything.
it's a different
Yeah.
type of experience.
It
I
looks
think
like a
you guys
fun
would
little
like it,
multiplayer
just
game.
for fun.
Oh, I'll definitely probably get it. Did they say if that was gonna be free or not?
You know, I don't think so.
I don't think that was one of the ones. No, I'm pretty sure Quake.
Either way, whatever.
But good though.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I think if it is money, it's probably gonna be like $5.
I'm sure all those like details. Like,
it's a
are
window
on the website.
exclusive, so it's only for PC.
Oh, it's only PC.
Yeah.
Well,
Prey.
it was a lot like for a while. Like it is a PC game. That's hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were saying that.
Prey, a new Prey game, looks sweet. Was it a new Prey game or it's a DLC? It's a DLC.
It's a DLC toy.
I never played Prey before.
I didn't either. I watched a couple streamers play it. It was pretty cool looking. I mean, I'm not gonna bash it just because the ending was really cool.
Is it a shooter?
Yeah, it's a shooter.
Yeah,
Essentially, you're stuck on a ship, or like I said, you're in a simulator, and they're trying to see how you react in like a scenario, and your decisions basically have an effect on the end, which I like.
I didn't see that one. I was playing Crucible, waiting for the last game. Wink.
The last game.
Wolfenstein Youngblood. My only problem with it is I like when they wait a little bit for. I mean, they just came out with Wolfenstein. I don't think like they need another new one.
Yeah.
I think they could have waited another year to make it like really good.
I played
it looked like they.
I played Wolfenstein at my brother's house. I wasn't a big fan of it, personally.
I mean, it just looks like they kind of like. Here's another Wolfenstein. You guys really liked the last one, so here's another one.
Yeah.
Let's talk about. I'm gonna say Fallout 70. Let's talk about Elder Scrolls Blades, and then we'll get into the Elder Scrolls Blades phone game.
Looked like a
It's gonna be
solid
one of
phone
those
game.
games. I mean, it's just gonna be one of those games that
Yeah.
drain your battery. You can pre-order it now; it's free.
Probably not why I'm gonna play it.
I mean,
my phone would just be done in like I'm sure in like 5 seconds.
I mean,
If I'm like that's like if I'm on a road trip, I'll play it. But like how often am I on a road trip? You know.
Yeah, I'll get it, like, but whatever, you know. I'm not even gonna really spend time like talking about it. So now and the one thing I did like about Bethesda, and I'll talk about it more with the Skyrim.
Skyrim, very special edition.
Yeah, that was fun.
highlight of E3, I think, right here, man.
Troll of E3. That's what I kind of knew in the back of I was like, all right, you're not gonna troll somebody,
troll it, and then not say it,
and then not follow up with something real.
Yeah,
and that's just,
I mean,
the outrage would have been.
That's insulting.
Always in my heart, man. Always in my heart. Like I always knew they weren't gonna, but we'll get to that in a second. Because we're gonna talk about Fallout before that, because Fallout's less superior than Skyrim, Elder Scrolls franchise. I'm just saying.
They pushed their chips on it big this conference, though. Fallout 76 they're taking their big leap into the unknown. I think you know, having not played a Fallout game, I can understand maybe their reluctance to go fully online with a concept like that, but I don't see how it could go poorly. It looks like a really well fleshed out game. It looks like something that'll be fun to play with a squad of friends every now and again. I think it's
something you would get.
I might. I might. I mean, like it's one of those things where there's other games I'd get before it, but at some
But
point,
there is a beta too, so that's a good thing.
I think I might try the beta. Honestly,
Yeah. I'd be down
And
to
that's
try
what
the
I'm
beta.
I was gonna say that I'm super excited that they are doing a beta
Yeah.
because now everybody gets to try it. But it's just so awesome how they're making an open world for everyone, and everybody's gonna be able to essentially be in a server together. And the nuke system looks sweet. Taylor, I think you froze, but we'll keep going. I'm sorry. Um, the
One of
nuke
those
system
games.
looks sweet. There you go. There you go.
There we go.
The nuke
Oh.
system looks sweet. It just looks like a very cool game, like portable bases and stuff.
That whole new thing, it's one of those things where, like I said, again, having not played one, it felt like one of those features where they're like, you know what, we're just gonna go nuts with this one. We're just gonna go nuts, give you all the world ending ability you want. Just go ahead, have at it. Play it online. Let's just see what happens here. Which, if you're looking for ways to innovate the series, which I can imagine they were on Fallout 4, I can imagine they're probably in need of that at some point. That's a pretty big way of doing it. So, I give them props for that.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Fallout 76 is definitely a game that I will probably end up getting. It looks sweet, and especially if you have friends to play with it, 4 players in a huge open world with other like squads you can run into, and I mean, absolutely demolish.
Not a lot of ways that could be a bad game. That's got a lot of good elements there. So,
But see, it's like that revenge factor too, because if a squad kills me, I'm going for a nuke.
that's it.
Like, plain simple. I'm going for a nuke. I'm finding you.
Put you
Exactly.
in the ground.
And then, so let's talk about Starfield really quick. They didn't show too much
I'm
on
about to say
it,
there's not much to say. They really didn't say. I mean, really didn't show much.
but a space exploration like MMO, if it is an MMO, that's gonna be sweet, and I'm pumped for that.
As long as it's not a No Man's Sky type.
I was about to
deal.
say no man's
train
land.
wreck that was.
I
But
mean, I
it's
don't think anybody
Bethesda,
could
so
mess that up.
I'm
I
willing
guess
to bet they're
is.
not gonna mess it up. They got a lot on their
Yeah.
plate this year, and
Oh,
obviously the
absolutely.
coming years.
And then let's just talk about
There we go.
what made this whole E3, boys. 15 seconds
That was
of
it.
just
That's
pure
all it is.
lust. Pure lust coming
That's all I
out
wanted.
of Bethesda.
That's all I wanted.
Just, oh my god. Let me
They
just
didn't
say.
even give a release date. And these
I
boys like,
couldn't-
They
"That
didn't
shit
even have to. They
I
just
couldn't
showed
stand
us
up
the-
for about 10 minutes after the press conference just because we had to wait to start this talk show. This was just beautiful in all its glory. Let me just say, in all its glory. Let's just take a minute
36
to
seconds.
just let's look at this trailer real quick. All right.
Let's observe it together.
All right. Okay. Here we go.
That's a
Just
big
please
thing.
watch. Just the most beautiful thing you'll ever see in your life.
I'm trying to figure out which part of Tamriel this is.
I wish I knew what you were talking about.
Mountain. Tamriel is a continent, basically. And there's a bunch of provinces in Tamriel.
Okay, gotcha. Sheesh. The Gilder Scrolls 6.
Here, pause it. Here, wait, go back, Michael.
What part?
Just like this.
On that
So
thing.
there's a coastline. It looks really mountainy, dude. Like, is this a? I wonder if this is Skyrim again. It's got some.
They were talking about a Skyrim too. That was like a huge thing.
Skyrim Very Special Edition.
And that building, I don't know what that is. I don't know, dude. It's really mountainous. I know Cyrodiil had some mountains. I'll have to look at the map again because I knew that, like, I knew a lot of the provinces like pretty well.
There we go. Look
There
at
we
this.
go.
Yeah, Joe, this is Tamriel basically.
Wow.
So Oblivion was Skyrim's up top. I mean, we have so much. Morrowind, dude. Cyrodiil was in the middle, so
I mean, they
I
can
mean,
do Elsewhere, Valenwood, Blackmarsh, the Somerset
right
Isles.
down here, dude. We could be going to Hawaii.
And the Somerset Isles, High Rock.
Hawaii.
They're, the options are endless here.
I don't see the throat of the world type deal though, like the big mountain. I see mountains, but.
And I think that if it is Skyrim, I think they stayed away from it on purpose, because
because
people know. I'm sure people are pausing that and zooming into the ground to see what the animal base is, because they know the lore so well.
Pixel by pixel analyzing that.
Oh,
at this
well,
point.
there's coastlines, so it has to be on the rim. So it's probably not Cyrodiil.
Well, I mean, everything. That's really the only thing that is ruled out, because that's the only one that doesn't have a coastline.
Exactly.
So I mean, it's just. It could be anything. It could be Skyrim again. It's just anything.
Just do them all, dude.
Just do the whole
Complete
thing.
my
We haven't been to Black Marsh yet, or have we?
No. We
they-
haven't been to Black Marsh,
They
the
mentioned
Somerset
something about
Isles.
Black Marsh.
I think they did High Rock.
Balewood.
Because there was 3 more before, or 1 or 2 more before Morrowind and Oblivion.
Yeah.
They are all.
But I mean, hey, you can always go back to a place. Nobody's gonna diss you on that.
Yeah, people don't even remember those games from way long ago. I mean, it wasn't
Absolutely.
popular back then, so I don't think there'd be anything wrong with revisiting them on a 2000.
Dude, it's just, that was the most beautiful thing I've seen.
Oh man, my night.
That was
So-
to you guys what Division 2 was for me.
Exactly.
Dude, you don't ever compare Elder Scrolls to Division. How
why
dare
you-
you?
That's
Clean
why
your
I
mouth
To
out,
any-
yeah.
Ubisoft bullshit ass made game. Are you kidding me? Elder Scrolls is an art piece. Okay, it's a
Oh.
Leonardo da Vinci,
All right.
Picasso, Michelangelo. Yours is that bullshit ass 5-year-old painting Division bullshit that people
Alright.
just splatter crap on paper and.
Are you at
think
all
it's good.
concerned
Splatter
that?
parts,
All right, so when we compare it to Skyrim 2011, I'd be willing to say they have probably like less than half of the projects they have right now. You think it's gonna interfere with it at all? I certainly hope not.
they do have a lot going on.
It's a lot. But
I
as of
figure
right now,
they
I
probably
can't
expanded their
doubt them until
capabilities
they,
since then.
I can't doubt them until they actually fail. But
Well, and here's the
yeah, at
thing.
least
I
think
think
about
it's.
it.
I think it's another Halo move where people like, at the last second. I mean, that trailer would. You could sandbox that in 15 seconds. Like,
Yeah.
that trailer could be done in 15 seconds.
Did you show anything? Did you
With this-
literally showed like a.
Absolutely not.
Yeah,
No
sure.
release date. No like year. Anything like that. That game could may as well be a tree right now.
But what I
They-
want to
they
know
should-
is how long they've been
How much
working
longer
on
it'll
it right now.
take.
Because Oblivion, they had a long time. Skyrim also a long time, and they utilized those in between times in between those games like the whole time. I wonder, did they just start it now? Like, did they start it last year, or were they like working on it and did it have a?
Yeah,
Because they
Because they
said
still
it had a
have the
place
SO
in the
going on the
studio.
side.
They said, quote unquote, that it had a place in the studio. It's like that should be like
The
that is
studio.
your game. That should be the studio.
I mean, I trust Bethesda
Yeah.
more than any other
I trust them
company.
until they fail me, and they haven't.
I'm someone that thinks when Phil Spencer retires, bring in Todd Howard.
Even-
to
So
bring,
excited for this game. It's unbelievable.
Uh,
But the question is
mean,
when.
I think if you bring in Todd Howard, I think he would be a better CEO than Phil Spencer by it. Like, he's the man, dude. He has his swagger when he comes out, and he's
Even
just,
after the trolls.
He's got a good
he
sense of
knows-
humor, it's funny.
for as small as Bethesda was, dude. Like, their little conference they just had. Like, look at what just came out of it.
Yeah,
So when
Like,
do you
it's
guys
a
think it
publishing
comes out?
company. 2020.
that's what I was about to say. I
Think
feel like
so?
we've got a while.
Couple
Yeah.
years from now.
2020.
Honestly, I'm have my okay with that. I want it to be perfect. I want them to
That's
take their
fine,
time.
yeah. I mean, 2020. That's
your
fine
time,
with me.
take
Just
your
make sure it's good. Make
As
sure
of
it's.
now that I know it's official now.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
And they're starting. I think it's a Fallout 76 could be a little test run
Yeah.
with how the multiplayer goes into an
Exactly.
Elder
Yeah.
Scrolls.
Very
Yeah.
true. Very
So
true.
I mean,
And we got a lot of good games on the way too. to in
So
between the time.
it wouldn't upset me if Elder Scrolls wasn't um far in advance yet. It wasn't far in development yet. It wouldn't upset me too much because they will be able to implement like the
Online.
failures and the
They're
successes
going to learn
of
a lot over the
online.
next
Yeah, well,
little bit of time.
if honestly if they didn't have online though in the new Elder Scrolls, because that's not even guaranteed by any means. Like nobody ever said that Elder Scrolls is
Well,
gonna
yeah, no,
go
absolutely.
online. So
Well,
I
yeah, no,
mean,
absolutely.
I'd be just as happy like if they didn't incorporate online. But if they gave me this same quality of an Elder Scrolls that Skyrim and Oblivion was, I'd be
Oh,
ecstatic.
absolutely. And I mean, that's all I'm asking for is the same quality, but I'm saying a like 4 player, awesome. Awesome.
Wishful thinking. We'll see.
Absolutely
We'll see where they
awesome.
take it.
So, I mean, there's just so much
But if they're
potential to
willing to
be
do it
like,
with Fallout, I'll be willing to bet they're willing to do it with Elder Scrolls. So
oh, absolutely. There's so much to be just, it's, that's the highlight of E3 so far. So, I mean,
hug me, brother.
what would you give Bethesda on a scale, a grade?
100.
Are we giving it
100,
letter
eh?
grades?
Yep.
Go on now. And that is
Joe?
100%.
Joe,
Oh,
you gonna give
see-
me a letter grade?
Sorry. See, like you guys are super hype. For me, like I said, I really don't know a lot about Bethesda, so
Joe, if you give,
I don't have that attachment.
I will come over and smack you if you do not give it anything less than an A right now.
I was gonna say B plus, only
Okay,
because
an A coming out of Joe today. Okay, and then my opinion, it's a A plus because
God,
they
you're
showed
such
an
a
Elder Scrolls.
fanboy.
I already told you guys.
Division
what the stakes
sucks
were. Elder Scrolls, I'm sold.
or bust. I mean, it's just it's an Elder Scrolls, you know. So let's
Joe, you
just
need to play
quickly
Skyrim,
talk.
young man.
Hey man, the real conference is tomorrow at 4. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
All right.
So let's just talk about what are we looking forward to the rest of E3. A couple more days of it, so
Man,
what are
hard
we
to
looking
believe
forward
it's
to?
half over after all this. It's only halfway done.
What do you guys want to see?
Sheesh.
Well, Ubisoft. Wait, is Ubisoft still making Rainbow Six? Right? They made
Yes.
Siege, right?
Yes.
Another Rainbow Six would be pretty damn awesome, but like a Vegas style, not a Patriot or not a Siege style.
So I said before E3, I had a quad. What's the proper term I'm trying to
For-
use here? No, in a horse race.
No,
It's not quadfecta. What is it?
trifecta.
And then there's one after that.
I
Superfecta.
think it's superfecta. Yeah, that's like the first 4.
Joe, talk about something while I figure this out.
I'll say what I'm looking forward to. I mean, outside of Ubisoft, obviously, I am the Ubisoft fanboy, and they are, in my mind, gonna win with the Crew 2 and the Division 2 anyways. But I am still really interested to see. I mean, Microsoft said they were bringing the heat with their conference, and they really did. I want to see how the Microsoft Sony war is gonna go, and I'm interested because the thing
Like,
about
what am I
Sony-
seeing?
I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out.
Careful there.
the thing about Sony that interests me, and I don't think we gave this enough attention, is Sony's 2 biggest games, arguably, in Destiny and COD, already showed their hand. They both already had their reveals, so I'm concerned. What surprises does Sony have to counter Microsoft? It'll be an interesting battle to see what they've got.
Yeah, well, both of those have showed a lot already.
Yeah, no, they've showed a ton.
All right,
We'll have
so
to
it
see
is the
what else they have to
superfecta.
show. There's got to be more. There's always more.
Yeah,
But
I think there's room for Destiny gameplay too, because they really didn't show too much actual gameplay.
God of
during-
War already just came out, so there's no God of War type deal. I would like to see because I played like Ratchet and Clank and Jack and Daxter way back in the day. If those came back, that'd be phenomenal. I'm sure you probably never played it, but because those came out a long time ago. But
Yeah, never.
those were fun.
So
There were
it
some
is a
fun. PS2 had a lot of fun games.
So it is a superfecta,
Right.
and superfecta, like I said, my 4 picks. If
Go
all
for it.
4 picks of these are hit, so my first one, I said I want to see an Elder Scrolls. That was the #1 top list.
Check.
If there's a new Elder Scrolls, I'll be happy. Checked. If there's a new Halo
Check.
announced, I'll be happy. If
Mhm.
there is a new Rainbow Six Vegas, I will be extremely happy. Those three. And one thing that
Ubisoft's got
I
a
mean,
lot of potential, man. Ubisoft's got a lot of potential here.
one thing that's not gonna come out, and like I know for a fact I'm not gonna hit this fourth one, but I just think it may be, whatever. I don't know. A GameCube remastered.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Bro, for Nintendo to make a splash in this E3, I feel like they're gonna have to have something on that scale. After all said and done.
Listen. You can't. Let's not even compare Nintendo to any other game company, because they're not any other game company. They have their titles that separate them. Like, you can't even compare their games.
You're right. You're right. They do. They
The-
are.
like Mario, like I'm hoping for a new Mario that comes out, like a Sunshine, something along that, like an Odyssey that just came out. I'm looking for something like that. I'm looking for Mario Kart,
Oof, Mario Kart.
Zelda,
I just
but
wish
they
I
just
owned
came
the
out with the
Switch, quite
Zelda
honestly.
last.
I just wish I owned a Nintendo Switch.
Zelda, if they want to tease a new Zelda for me, that'd be. But Nintendo hits at home, and like it hits my heart every time I watch it, just because those are the like growing up games.
Oh, heck
Those are
yeah.
the Kingdom Hearts I'm talking about. Those are the games that you talk about non-stop. Those are
Those
the
are the
games
icons.
those are the games that hit you, man. So, let me just say, we have been going on for an hour.
Over an hour now.
I think we're right on an hour mark. Right on the hour mark, Joe.
Nice. Man, what a
Let me just say,
day.
what a day. We have more of E3 tomorrow, and the next day it's going to be awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Thank you guys for joining me, Joe and Taylor. Hopefully, maybe one day we can get 5 man. I don't know.
We got some convincing to do, but
Tyler,
I think
you're in here, you're a scumbag, so now you're a bigger scumbag. But no, listen. Either way, it's fun doing it with just us three,
have a
because
ball. That's awesome.
it's fun to do. And thank you guys for watching it. We're killing it on YouTube views. For having 4 subscribers, we're getting like 100 views on first 2 podcasts. Like, we're on track for 100 views for the second one that I just posted yesterday. So thank you guys for all the support on YouTube. Thank you guys for watching on Twitch. And we will most likely be back tomorrow. If nothing impresses me tomorrow, then we're not going to be back. But most likely we'll be back tomorrow. And it'll probably be a shorter one tomorrow. It's probably going to be like a 30-minute one tomorrow rather than an hour. But thank you guys.
All right.
Awesome.
Peace out, people.
Much love. God bless everyone. Good night.